Mm-mm-mm-mm. Monday morning, y'all. We got 8:45 Pacific Standard Time. Y'all know what it is, man. It's Good Morning Nation. I appreciate everybody pulling up. But man, even after a night's rest of sleep, I still feel like garbage, yo. Still feel like garbage. But look, we're not going to start like that. We're not going to start like that. Good morning to everybody in the nation. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Appreciate y'all being here with us, man. I know it's a tough loss, but we got to stay positive. Stay on your rise and grind. If you're on your way to work, school, whatever it is, to the gym, make sure you go ahead and get your work in. Appreciate y'all being here, man. Shout out to everybody that's pulled up. I see y'all going back and forth in the chat already. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I know it's a hard loss, but at the end of the day, we got to figure out what is going on. Josh McDaniels, Derek Carr, a lot of moving pieces going on with this team. A lot of people locked in with these contracts, man. So we're going to have a very good time talking about this because I'm sure whatever is brought up is going to be controversial. Now, Josh McDaniels did have a presser this morning, guys. If you guys didn't check it out, it's just a short one. He didn't really say too much. At the end of the day, we're just getting the same rhetoric. People are saying the same ish, and we can't really take their word at all. Yesterday, you listened to the press conference from Josh McDaniels, from Derek Carr. Derek Carr really didn't take any responsibility whatsoever. Basically saying that they need to practice better. Sounded like the team wasn't really on the same game plan from what it seemed like from his press conference, and the week of practice wasn't good. And then you talk about Josh McDaniels, what he had to say and how you have to learn from this, and this isn't his first time being in this kind of loss. I'm not really trying to hear that. We're at a 2-5 record. That's pretty much my spiel. I would be surprised if Derek Carr would be here next year. Just got to put that out there. And as far as Josh McDaniels, man, we'll see what happens with him. But, yo, appreciate everybody being in the building, man. Steve-O, I see you. Good morning. He says, if I was Mark, I'd do it right now. Should have done it before the bye week. Hey, shout out to Steve-O. He's thinking we need to get rid of Josh McDaniels right now. B-Rod says, nah, I'm done with Carr. He plays with too much fear when things are not perfect for him. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. Rich Snyder in the building. Says Flores won that Super Bowl, not Madden. Colt Miller sucked. Oh, man. I see y'all in the chat, though. Digital Prez in the building. What's good with you, man? Appreciate you being here, pulling up on us, yo. Already 90 people in the building. Worst bot says Brady. I don't know why you said that, bro. We're not about destroying families over here. We're not about destroying families over here. Brian Rodriguez says Geno Smith, Hurts, Cousins, Josh Allen, Dak. Dang, you just naming all sorts of quarterbacks. I just want to know who think is better than Derek Carr. Yeah, right now, Derek Carr. Derek Carr's not looking too good for us. Mike Morris in the building. Good morning, man. He says, good morning, nation. Still trying to figure out what the hell happened yesterday. That's what I'm saying, man. Even after a night's worth of sleep, you still wake up feeling some type of way. And I don't think this is like any other year, man. I really think this year is going to change a lot of things about Raider Nation. Derek Carr's been the quarterback for the last 9 years. Mark Davis has always given his coaches a long time, or at least a few years, to develop his team. And I think this year is going to be a lot different. Definitely think so. JD says, raid the mofo tape, man. Ain't nobody on the hot seat, bro. McDoofus, Ben said this is a 4-year process. We on the hook for more BS. Shout out to JD, man, because I kind of felt that way at the beginning, but I feel as if this year is going to be different, man. And it has to be different. Derek Carr we cannot allow Derek Carr to continue being under center. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on the Derek Carr train anymore. We need something new. We need something fresh that could really kickstart this team, that could really get this team motivated to go out there and have a great game. You know, this is kind of upsetting. You shouldn't lose 0-24. And I've kind of spoke on this, and people got upset when I had even mentioned any criticism of the offense. But the offense is what we invested in. And you think about it, we traded for Devontae Adams, his friend. There was some type of expectancy there between him and Derek Carr. I'm not trying to wait on a 4-year process. And even though McDoofus said that it was a 4-year process, Mark Davis said in the presser, this is not a rebuild. We got to remember what Mark Davis said. Mark Davis said, this is not a rebuild. This is not a rebuild. We need to realize that. Mark Davis said this is just going to the next level. He's supposed to take us to the next level. So when you go back and watch Mark Davis' press conference, when we first brought in Ziegler, when we first brought in McDaniels, he said this is not a rebuild. This is taking us to the next level. Meaning we made the playoffs last year. We need to make it next year and take it to the next level. Win a game in the playoffs. We need to win a wild card or win a divisional round. That is what the owner of the Raiders says, not McDaniels. So also to take in consideration, just to display the writing on the wall that we have to realize is how many times do you guys remember Mark Davis meeting with the head coach twice within the first half of the season? I don't ever remember hearing about Mark Davis meeting multiple times with his head coach within the first season. I don't remember that. It's a tough one, man. It's a tough one, man. Raider Wolf says, quit crying. We can't win them all. Hey, Raider Wolf, I don't know if you've been a Raider fan, how long you've been a Raider fan, but we haven't won many. We haven't won many, Raider Wolf. So for you to come in and tell Raider fans quit crying, come on, man. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. That's like telling a man that just got cheated on by his girlfriend to calm down. You don't tell someone to calm down, bro. Like that's a terrible de-escalation skill. SVT Vasquez says, good morning. Shout out to SVT pulling up on us, man. Eric Delk in the building. He says 30 years of bad defense. I totally agree with you, man. The ball looked like garbage in the beginning, too. The difference is, man, the ball is playing with a Giants team that sucks. The Giants suck straight up. This isn't a Giants team. Like I just got done saying, this team was supposed to go to the next level. We're not supposed to be rebuilding. I don't give a shit that it's a new system. I don't care if we got a new DC or an OC. These are excuses. And as a Raider fan, why do you guys continue to accept bullshit? Why do you guys continue to accept the fact that we take hours out of our day, money out of our pockets to support a team that obviously isn't getting it done? Like, come on now. This is unacceptable. I expected more. I expected some more criticism for this team. We damn near need to boycott these mugs, man, because we can't accept this no more. D was lacking, but 0 offensive points. That's where it ends with me. The defense, how are we going to continue to say the defense is lacking, right? The defense has done the same thing the entire season. This is the same thing we've seen from the defense. They've allowed 24 points or less in every single game outside of the Chiefs game. Now, regardless of whether you think that's a lot of points or not, I would assume this team should be able to put up more than 24 points with the offense and the weapons that we have. That's just my opinion. That's I'm telling you right now, this is how it's got. We didn't go into this season, and everybody in this offseason, all the content creators making all these videos, all the people on Twitter talking shit, all the people on Instagram that would DM me, we were expecting this offense. Even the people on ESPN that hate the Raiders, the media hates the Raiders, right? Every Raider fan would say that, oh, the media hates the Raiders. But everybody in the media had us as almost Super Bowl contenders. They had us as one of the most high-ranking offenses. I mean, even when you look at the power rankings that they do throughout every single week of the NFL, they have us in the top 15, and we're not even above 500. So they're looking at us like we're supposed to be a high-powered team, and we're not doing it. You go out there and you lay a goose egg of 0 points, and we've got a Ferrari of an offense that's broken down. That's unacceptable. How could we even mention the defense? You can't. Shout out to Alex S. in the building, man. He says, just a reminder, Derek Carr's contract is not guaranteed. Exactly. This is why should be his last year, because you can't allow to go in the next year paying him nearly $40 million a year. We're not going to be able to do anything. We just won't. D Webb says, I'm approaching this like Omarion unbothered. McDaniels acts unbothered, so why should I? I feel you on that. OG straight up in the building was good with it, Ray Love. I see you, Ray Love, pulling up on us, man. John, younger man, high rate. He said the same old crap. Exactly. We're hearing the same thing. It's the same old ish. I think McDaniels has lost the locker room. I agree to an extent. Because one thing I would definitely say is that I feel like because Derek Carr and the coach becomes close, Derek Carr is able to help the coach keep a hold of the locker room. But at the same time, I just feel as if this thing's over with. You know, I just feel like this thing is over with. I'm sorry. Jason Marshall says, O-line straight dumpster fire. I wouldn't even say that, man. The O-line cannot block every single pass attempt for 3 to 5 seconds. I'm sorry. You can't expect your offensive line to block for 3 to 5 seconds every single time. Derek Carr eventually is going to have to pass the ball. He literally stood back there and just stood there. He just stood there. He just didn't pass the ball. Of course you're going to get sacked. Like literally, of course you're going to get sacked. Why would you just stand there after 3 seconds of holding the ball? That's long enough. This is just football, man. I don't know what people expect, but when you watch the game, he literally hikes the ball, kind of just stands there. And you can't do that. I mean, the offensive line is eventually going to break down. It's obvious. It's obvious. We always given what is Derek Carr's one of his better skill sets is getting the ball out quick, having a fast release, knowing what to do before he snaps the ball. He didn't seem like he was able to do that this game. He wasn't working to his advantage. What we know Derek Carr for, he wasn't getting it done. So when you're talking about the O-line is garbage, the O-line isn't the best or top 5 or anything, but it's not bottom 10. This is not a terrible straight dumpster fire garbage. That's false. That is not true at all. Not true at all, bro. Derek Carr has to do something. You cannot just stand there. Nigerian Prince in the building was Gucci, man. He says, I think McDaniels has lost the locker room. We just talked about that. Appreciate you, man. It has been a minute, Nigerian Prince. I'm glad to see you back out here with us, man. Hey, Ray, kind of sad today. There's too much uncertainty, not confident in the future. Looks like a full rebuild is on the way. This is the thing, Dragon Hendricks. We brought it up in the post game yesterday. And if you guys can, we're about 10 minutes deep into this live, y'all. 10 minutes deep into this live. If you guys can, make sure to hit that like button. Go make a play. Something the Raiders offense needs to learn how to do, which is go make a play. Hit that like button so we can get the algorithm cracking. And don't forget to subscribe if you guys are new here. I appreciate everybody pulling up and showing some support, man. I know it's a tough way to start off the week, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Luis M. in the building. What's up with you, man? Blas Ramos says, same old story. I feel you. I feel you. Mawazi in the building. Yes, sir. Appreciate you pulling up. He says, bruh. Yeah, I feel you. I definitely understand. Shout out to Steve-O with the super chat, getting us just warmed up, though. He says, with the upcoming winnable games, talented weapons, oversimplifying the scheme, if I was Mark, I'd fire Josh and hire Brian Flores and simplify the scheme. This is the thing, though, Steve-O. This is the thing. We don't really know what Josh McDaniels' contract is. I don't know what Josh McDaniels' contract is. If anybody does, please send me the link. But if I go to look up Josh McDaniels' contract right now, I wonder if I'd be able to even see what the deal is. I don't think they ever put the details of Josh McDaniels' contract out there, so I'd be surprised on how all this works when it comes to Josh McDaniels because – like I said, we don't know the details of the contract. So maybe it's a contract that's here for multiple years. Maybe it's not. At the end of the day, I think it's going to be hard to fire Josh McDaniels within this first year, within the season. It would probably be at the very end of the season when all hope is lost because Mark Davis has never fired any of his coaches within the first year. Let's be honest, guys. He's never fired any of the coaches his first year. You talk about JDR. JDR was here multiple years. Hey, can you guys hear me? Can I get a thumbs up? It said my mic was unplugged. I don't know what happened. It says my mic was unplugged. Can I get a thumbs up real quick? Make sure my mic is working. It says it was unplugged. I don't even know why I said that. Appreciate y'all. I got the thumbs up. Appreciate y'all. I got the thumbs up. I don't know why I said my mic was unplugged. Richard Snyder says 200 people and only 20 likes. Yikes. Yo, y'all got to make a play, man. Go do your Dougie, make a play. I don't know if your touchdown celebration is the gritty, throwing the ball into the end zone, the Lambeau leap. I don't know what it is, man. But go make a play. Do your touchdown dance and hit that like button. Y'all know what it is. Digital Prez, what's up with it, cuz? Appreciate you pulling up, man. Shima, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Ruben G says, you think Lamar will re-sign with the Ravens? No, this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one, but I don't think by a long shot we would even get Lamar. So I wouldn't even want to have any dialogue about that because, guys, this is why we would need to get rid of Derek Carr. because his contract that's coming up will be a $35 million boost. It'll be a $35 million deal. And you talk about this year is a $19 million payment to Derek Carr. Next year, it's $35 million. So you guys think about it like this, okay? If right now we're struggling on defense, okay, because we don't have a lot of weapons on that side of the football, but we paid Derek Carr twice as much as we are this year, and everybody else's contract extensions will take effect. So what that means is Hunter Renfrow, instead of Hunter Renfrow getting paid $3 million this year, he will be getting $13 million next year. So that means $10 more million will be allocated to the offense. Another 15 extra will be allocated to Derek Carr alone. So between Hunter Renfrow and Derek Carr, $25 million between those two will be allocated to them in excess of what we're already giving the offense now. Now, the offense is already being allocated $25 million more dollars than the defense is. $25 million more than the defense. Now, next year, the offense will have twice as much money allocated to the offense. So I know it's a lot of numbers. I know it sounds crazy, but basically at the end of the day, the offense, it has twice as much cap invested into it than the defense does. Now imagine going out and getting a quarterback that costs even more than Derek Carr, that will get a huge contract in Lamar Jackson, which will probably get $50 million plus. That would only add more cap to the offense, and I do not see that happening. I do not see that happening. Not only that, the simple fact that we'll probably have around 30 million in cap space next year, and we'll have to use that for the defense because the cap space for the defense next year is around 58 million, and Max Crosby and Chandler Jones take up 40 million of that. So 40 million of 58 million is going to two players on the defense. And this regime, look, they wanted to come in and sign all these big contracts that were going all in. And this is why I keep trying to tell people that try to convince me or try to persuade each other that, oh, Josh McDaniels has 3 years. Oh, no, it takes time to build. It takes time to learn the scheme. We have to learn how to win. This isn't what Mark Davis brought him in for. This isn't what Mark Davis brought in Ziegler and McDaniels in for. And we went out and we traded a bunch of investments to go ahead and make this a all-in team. At the beginning of the season, this isn't a rebuild. Mark Davis said him damn self, if you guys need to go back and watch the presser, this isn't a rebuild. This is moving to the next level. Next level meaning we made the playoffs last year. Now we're trying to make the playoffs again and win a game. And that's where we're supposed to be headed. This isn't what we're supposed to be getting. This isn't the product of what was expected. So when you talk about Josh McDaniels, 3 years, it's a new scheme. Nobody gives a shit. This was a playoff team last year. I don't hear the Giants sitting back talking about it's a new scheme. It's a new scheme, blah, blah, blah. They have less talent than us. The Giants have less talent than us. I don't care who says, oh, they have Leonard Williams on the defense. I don't care if they say they have Saquon Barkley. We have Josh Jacobs, and I know a lot of people love Josh Jacobs. So if he's so great, then how can the Giants get it done with only Saquon Barkley? We also have Devontae Adams. And I know Derek Carr is better than Daniel Jones, but they have Daniel Jones. So there's no way you can sit here and tell me how the Giants are able to be successful. The Dolphins, their first year with their McDaniels, they're able to be successful. What about the Vikings, guys? This is unacceptable. We should not be accepting this as fans. So this is straight BS if you ask me. Straight BS if you ask me. Let me get down to the comments though, man. Demon Child says Mark Davis, worst owner in sports. I don't buy that. I definitely don't buy the fact that Mark Davis is the worst owner in sports. I think he's actually one of the better owners in sports. He actually wants to win. If Mark Davis going out willing to make these sacrifices to go all in to win, I don't see how he could be one of the worst owners. Last year we made the playoffs. He lets his coaches, he lets his regimes actually have time to build. Also, we moved to Vegas. Our stadium is one of the best, if not the best stadium in the league. So I don't see how he could be one of the worst coaches. We got Devontae Adams on our team. Our team is stacked with talent. Not only that, a bunch of money is out there. So he's doing things that he shows that he wants to win games. He's not just sitting back letting whatever happen. So I can't really say that about Mark Davis. I feel like he's made some moves and they just haven't worked out. So much blame to go around. Exactly. There is a lot of blame to go around. But at the end of the day, we have to do something to move on. We have to continue moving on, man. Raider Wolf says, do you guys think Stidham could play better than Derek Carr? Should we start him going forward? Now, I don't know if we would start Stidham going forward. I don't see that whatsoever. You're going to play the best available player, and Stidham isn't better than Derek Carr. We got to be honest with ourselves here about that. But as far as Derek Carr, it's hard for me to say because last year, as a disclaimer, for those who that have been following me since I started YouTube, since I started covering the Raiders, I've defended Derek Carr because the lack of consistency at wide receiver, the lack of consistency as coaches, as far as offensive line, as far as not having a good defense, I've defended Derek Carr. But at this point in time, you cannot do that, especially when you look across the division and you see, okay, you have the Broncos, who have a terrible offense, but they still winning more games than us. You look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is just as bad as ours. The Chiefs defense literally ranked one worse than ours. They were 27th and we were 26th, or vice versa. But when they have literally this basically the same ranked defense, and their offense is only ranked one or two higher than us, it's virtually the same thing. And people try to use this same excuse, and we cannot do that no longer, because we only have 2 wins, guys, out of 7 damn games. So I think it's time to definitely move on from Derek Carr. It just is. It just is. You got some people out here saying start Stidham seriously. If we did, I really wouldn't care if we did. I'm calling it quits on this team. Right now, I'm done with this team because I want to move on from Derek Carr. So I'm done with this team at this point. Not in like a negative way, just in kind of more of a positive way to move on and onto your next chapter of your life. This is the next chapter of the Raiders, and we need to go ahead and flip that page, man, because we need to turn the corner and start getting some victories. That's the only way we're going to be able to progress and change the scenery. That's what we need. We need a new culture, a new hype, a new quarterback that's going to be able to really rally these guys in the locker room. And I think Derek Carr just isn't that guy. I don't know if it's personality-wise, and then also because of his play. I don't know what it is with Carr, but he got to go. He got to go. Junior Zamora says Carr's not worth $35 million. Sorry. Yeah, he's not. He's just not. And it's straight facts. It's straight facts. There's nothing less. There's nothing more to it. Derek Carr is not worth $35 million. He's proving it this year that we cannot allow him to swivel us and swindle us and hoodwink us and whatever you want to call it out of $35 million. There's a $5 million dead cap if we let him go, and I'm fine with that. I'm 100% fine with that. Just for people to see and understand what I'm talking about when it comes to Derek Carr's contract, it's simple. You can see here, this is Derek Carr's cap hit. Derek Carr's cap hit this year is $19 million. Now, that equates to 9% of the cap. I don't mind him making $19 million because if we were to get a rookie, this is probably how much they would make, or maybe a little bit less, actually. But as far as the $35 million and us only having a $5 million dead cap, I'd be fine with that. I would definitely fine with that. And then you see we save $30 million if we let him go. We have to save that $30 million, in my opinion. There's no guaranteed money, and there's only a $5 million dead cap hit. So you take that $5 million off of this $35 million, and it saves us $30 million. Okay. And then if you want to keep him for one more year, then you're going to go on to pay him $43 million. And I don't want to do that. So at the end of the day, we definitely need to have some very hard considerations. There's going to be some difficult changes coming to this Raiders team, y'all. It just may be. Let me scroll down. I think I'm a little bit behind in the chat, man. A lot of people out here. Appreciate everybody that's pulling up. We got over 300 people, y'all. We need at least 300 likes. Go make a play. Hit that like button. Let's get to 300 likes, y'all. I appreciate y'all. We're on the road to 10K as well. So if y'all new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We do Good Morning Nation every Monday at 8:45 Pacific Standard Time. So pull up for a Good Morning Nation. We got our guy Ty Davis. He says, "Hey, Ray, I think they would do way better with simpler scheme and simpler play calling. What's your thoughts on that?" I 100% agree as well. I think all this complications on this terminology on how the offense is supposed to be like Mandarin is supposed to be very difficult. I think it's a bunch of crap. I think it's just something to seem like you're way more smarter than you really are. Chess, it's almost like this. Think about chess. Chess isn't that hard to play. Think about it. It's really not that hard to play once you learn the rules. It's when you start to overcomplicate things and you start to have all these different type of moves that you try to do that you really don't need to do. Just go out there and make it happen. How is it hard to throw the ball to Devontae Adams? That's what confuses me. You're telling me every time Derek Carr dropped back and he had that 3 to 4 seconds to pass the ball, that Devontae Adams wasn't open any time throughout the game? Because when you look at the stats, Devontae Adams didn't have any. Devontae Adams didn't do nothing, guys. He literally did nothing the entire game. Nothing. He had a negative rush. Like, if anything, he had a negative rush, and that's it. And that's what are we talking about? You go out there and you invest a first and a second round pick, plus you pay this man top dollar to do what? Literally nothing. He had 0 catches. Excuse me, he had 1 catch for 3 yards. Devontae Adams had 1 catch for 3 yards, guys. This is who we sent the first round pick, a second round pick, and paid a premium so he can get 1 catch and a negative rush and get blasted in the end zone, or in the back of the line of scrimmage. That's unacceptable. So I agree, Ty Davis. We need to simplify this because this is ridiculous. I told you, bro, Carr would be gone before McDaniels would. I don't honestly think Carr would be gone before McDaniels. I think they would both be gone at the same time. I don't think you give McDaniels more time than you would Carr at this point. I just don't see it. If McDaniels is having a hard time having success with Derek Carr as the quarterback, then McDaniels definitely needs to reconsider some things. Also, I would also want to interject and say that McDaniels was carried by Bill Belichick's defense. Let's be honest here. This was one of my scares. This was really one of my scares. Will McDaniels continue to be successful? Because an example would be when he had Mac Jones last year. He had Mac Jones, yes, but what did he really have to do? Not a damn thing. Because you think about when they played the Bills that one game to where it was snowing, and they only passed the ball around 3 times. They passed the ball 3 times. It was really on the Patriots defense that kept that team in the game. McDaniels does not have a defense anymore that's going to continue to, 1, keep him in the game, 2, win the game for him to where he could basically call anything he wants, and it seems like he's being successful. 3, he doesn't have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Tom Brady. So, yeah, he was able to keep his neck above water in his last year with the Patriots, but at the end of the day, when you think about it, who was really carrying that football team? Who was really creating success in that football team? It was Bill Belichick and that defense. So when you talk about Josh McDaniels being here longer than Carr, I don't see that happening. I see them both leaving at the same time, to be honest. Alex S says, be honest, Ray. Stid did do better than Carr yesterday. Okay, I would say that Stidham did better than Carr yesterday for that one drive, but it's garbage time. Like, let's not take a 2-minute drive of garbage time when the Saints are literally just letting them do whatever they want underneath and compare it to Carr's entire portfolio. That's ridiculous. We have to continue to stay level-headed at least. Carr isn't the quarterback we need, but Carr isn't that bad of a quarterback where Jarrett Stidham is going to come in and be better than Derek Carr. I don't buy that whatsoever. That's crazy. He says Stidham moved the team. Bruh. You guys are taking one drive in garbage time literally at the end of the game too serious. Let's not do that. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Wow. Cody says, get rid of Adams, Too overrated, dropping catch, can't get his feet in bounds. I don't know if he's too overrated, man. I don't know if Derek Carr and him are really building that cohesion again. I don't know what it is, honestly. Honestly don't know what it is. Stidham's EJ, shout out to you, EJ. Appreciate you pulling up. He says Stidham came in when New Orleans benched players and didn't give a shit anymore. Yeah, like y'all taking that shit way too serious. Y'all taking that way too serious. Like Stidham played garbage time, relax. We still exactly like, bro. He played garbage time and still didn't even get any points. Like, what are we talking about, family? What are we talking about? Ray Love says, run them lights up and subscribe. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Ray Love, dropping that reminder. Yes, sir, Nation. If y'all can, make sure to hit that like button. Go make a play. Show the Raiders how to make a play. Marvin Lewis, he says, I'm with you, Ray. I wouldn't even mind if we changed ownership because we tried everything else. So a change at ownership can't be any worse. One thing I would say, I don't know if I would want to change ownership. Let me just be honest, Marvin Lewis, because I want an owner that's going to show – I want an owner that's going to show us he wants to win. And I feel like that's what Mark Davis has done. Mark Davis has shown us that he wants to win. And I can't knock him, man. I cannot knock him because the decisions he's made, honestly, I feel like haven't been terrible decisions. Are we upset that he went and got JDR and Reggie McKenzie? I'm not really upset with that because the success was showing itself. Derek Carr ended up getting hurt, and we know the rest is history. Now, you talk about him going out to get John Gruden. He gave John Gruden an opportunity. Our offense was really blazing in the fourth year. I mean, guys, think about it. We were what? 5-2. 5-2. We were 5-2 going into like the mid season when John Gruden had to win out. Mark Davis gives his coaches time. You guys have to remember that when Al Davis was the coach, was the owner, Al Davis was firing a coach year after year after year, guys. Like literally, it was just year after year after year. Mark Davis gives his coaches time, his regime's time. So JDR had 3 years. John Gruden had 4 years. Now we're on to Josh McDaniels. There's of course some people that didn't want Josh McDaniels, but was it a terrible move? I don't think it was a terrible move to bring in Josh McDaniels. I think it was a great move to go out there and get a guy that's shown he can be successful, win a bunch of championships. He's a better offensive coordinator. Everybody called him an offensive guru. Even the media did. Everybody was calling him that. So how can we be mad or try to knock Mark Davis for wanting to win? He's throwing money everywhere. He hasn't cared that we signed all these big name players. He went all in this year because he wanted to stack the chips on top of last year. And he said it in the presser, and he even said, this is not a rebuild. This is just getting us to the next level. This is why he's been talking to Josh McDaniels. This is why he's had these multiple meetings with Josh McDaniels, guys. I have to give Mark Davis some bit of credit, even though we haven't been able to get over that hump. Digital Press says, no way Devontae Adams looks sick either. He looked well enough to play, but definitely sad to see he didn't do anything. Yeah, 1 catch for 3 yards. 1 catch for 3 yards. Adams dropped that ball too. He did. He really did. Are we trading for anyone really? I doubt it. I don't know. I don't think trading for anybody would change anything on this team, to be honest. We just traded Jonathan Hankins and we went out there and laid a goose egg. If anything, we did Jonathan Hankins a favor. If we trade anybody off this team, we'd be doing them a favor. But I don't think we are going to do that. If we're going to be going all in, I could see us trading some of our higher draft picks to go get some main stars that may be on the trade block that we haven't heard about. Maybe some guys like a Grady Jarrett, a DeForest Buckner, any defensive tackles that may be out there. Maybe even a safety that may be available. But honestly, at this point, I don't know any one sole player or any two players we could trade for to bring in right now in the middle of the season to turn this around. We're 2-5, and if we continue to invest more into this team, we're just going to screw ourselves over for the next few years, man. So it's going to be tough to see. It's going to be tough to watch this unfold, to be honest. Omar with the super, appreciate you, dog. He says, bro, I didn't want to trade for Adams because we were not Rams. I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. I wanted to trade for Adams if the price was right. Now, because we sent the first, second, and we had to pay him, I did not like the trade. And we talked about it. I remember we were hypothetically speaking about trading for Adams before we even did get him last year. We'd be talking to Graf, Andy from Raiders Football Talk. I talked with Sanjeet about it, Honcho, and I even said I do not want to send draft picks for Adams. Maybe a later draft pick and maybe a player. I would have loved to send Waller over there, plus maybe like a third for Adams. Then you give him money. But sending your first and your second, plus having to cash him out, was a terrible deal. It was a terrible deal. I didn't like it at all whatsoever. Now, I do like the fact that we were aggressive and we went and traded for a very good wide receiver. And we brought in the guy that would give Derek Carr really no excuses. So when you talk about giving Derek Carr what he needs to be successful, that's what I feel like we did this year, to where now we can turn that corner and say, okay, Carr, we gave you a weapon. We gave you Devontae Adams. Your offensive line is good enough. You cannot expect every person on the offensive line to be Trent Williams. Not every person on the offensive line will be Trent Williams. Josh Jacobs has been running great. Because Josh Jacobs has been running great, we've been able to win games because he's running so good. We're not winning games because Derek Carr is able to have a connection with Devontae Adams, Matt Collins, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow. We're not able to. So what's the excuse when it comes to Derek Carr? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And it can't be the defense. It just can't. MZ says Kanye West had a better week than Derek Carr. Holy smokes. Now, damn, that's a tough one, bro. You came with that haymaker, y'all. You came with a haymaker. It's tough. It's tough to really put a finger on it, y'all. It's really tough to put a finger on it. Digital Press says, if we can't get anything in this trade line, if we can't get anything this trade deadline, then I can see us keeping those picks we got and using them as leverage pre-draft to make moves. It may not be much, but it's something. Excuse me. At this point, honestly, Press, we have to really consider moving on, because like I've been saying, this is supposed to stack the chips. This is not supposed to be one of those seasons to where we're rebuilding or we're trying to find out what works. No, we made the playoffs last year, and as Mark Davis said in the presser when we first brought in this regime, we're going to the next level. So the fact that we're not going to the next level is just very disheartening. Also, you have to consider Mark Davis has brought in Josh McDaniels not once but twice, guys. Twice that has been put out that Mark Davis has pulled Josh McDaniels to his side for a private conversation. And this is why I think this year is going to be much different than the prior years, because that's never happened before. We've never had a team to where a coach came in and said, okay, this coach is going to come in and take this team to the next level. We've never had that. The circumstances are not the same. We never had a coach come in and trade for a superstar wide receiver and it actually work out. I know the AB thing, but that didn't even work out. So we haven't done anything like this. A first and a second for Adams. We signed big contracts to multiple players that are already good. We didn't have this with JDR. JDR had to go out and get Derek Carr, had to go get Khalil Mack. This is what Reggie McKenzie and JDR have to do. They had to get Amari Cooper. They had to get Gabe Jackson. They had to build that team through the draft. Then you move on to John Gruden. Terrible picks, terrible picks, but finds ways to somehow, some way get through it with great players late in the draft to help him get through with these Hunter Renfrows and Max Crosby's that now this new regime is able to take advantage of. But obviously, they're not taking advantage of it because we're losing. So this is not the same, guys. This is not the same. Classic Man Q says all that talk about accountability in training camp, and this is where we at. I'm not listening to training camp shit no more. Yeah, bro. It's all in one ear, out the other. They out here capping. I don't know exactly why why they think that these pressers really mean much. Because at this point, they're just saying the same shit. Like, let's be honest. Did you see Devontae Adams saying he was done on the sidelines? I keep hearing about it. I didn't hear that, man. I didn't hear that. But to be honest, I feel as if this team, not this team, but more of Devontae Adams is kind of showing his diva side. And I said this yesterday. I feel like Devontae Adams is showing his diva side, not only because of this game, but just based off the simple fact that, one, he hasn't really I feel like he's not giving that leadership that we would expect. Two, he's been out of character. Like right now, he's saying he's done on the sidelines, which I didn't see, and wouldn't be surprised. But also, you're pushing this kid on the sidelines, and I know it's petty, and the kid press charges, whatever. But you still out of character. You go push him on the sidelines because you're upset. Okay, there's that one thing. And then after the next game, you do small antics on as if you're clearing the way to not push anybody, and then you just show these frustrations of throwing your helmet, being frustrated on the sidelines, and he's starting to show these signs of being a diva wide receiver. And maybe it's just because he's frustrated because his team sucks, but at the same time, I don't know, man. You chose to come here at the end of the day. I mean, let's be honest. May Spitfire says tank, tank, tank. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we tanked. Honestly, I would not be mad if we tanked. We're on a player or two away. We're a quarter, maybe a half a team away from being serious contenders. I wouldn't even say that, honestly, Rakers, because this is how I see it. Nobody was saying that shit at the offseason. Nobody was saying this when we were talking about going into the season. Everybody had predictions of going 12 wins, easily 12-5, talking about 11-6, 13-4, 14-3. So I'm not trying to hear this now. Nobody was sitting here saying this in the offseason. Nobody. Nobody's going to come in here and act like they were saying, nope, we're still a half a team away. We're still a quarter of a team away. Nobody was saying that. Everybody was hyped about Chandler Jones coming in and being on the other side. Who is going to be able to block both of them? Everybody was saying, well, we have Waller, Renfro, Adams. Who's going to be able to guard all of them? I'm not trying to hear this. So don't come in here saying we aren't a player away, because this is a bunch of hindsight bullshit, bro. This is not what anybody was saying at the beginning of the season, man. Trey Lords, can we admit Chandler Jones needs to be a backup? Put something else on the edge. Yeah, Chandler Jones is garbage. We need to get him out of that contract as soon as possible, man. We need to get him out of that contract as soon as possible. I don't know why we gave him such a big contract. We should have gave some money to some defensive tackles to trade it for one and just put Klee and Kuntz out there. And why is Kuntz getting blackballed? Why is Kuntz out here getting shunned? As if he hasn't put in any work, as if he hasn't shown any flashes. I don't know what it is or the criteria for this coaching regime, but what has Kuntz done to not get any playing time? That's what confuses me. What has Kuntz done to deserve not playing? That's weird. This was the no excuse year for Carr, and he choked. 100% agree, Lemon Pepper. He completely choked. There was no excuses for him, and he's choking terribly bad. Nutty Raider says, so what would you do, Raid? What would I do personally? I appreciate you asking this question, man. I really do appreciate you asking this question. What would I do is I would continue playing out this season. I would play out this season the same way we're playing it out. Definitely would want to simplify it. But at the same time, I would probably, at this point, tank. I would tank. Why? Because I would know that I'm getting rid of Derek Carr after this season. I am not keeping Derek Carr on tabs because, one, he has a $35 million deal next year that he'll take, or we could save $30 million and get rid of him, which I would do. I would let him go and save that $30 million. I would use those high draft picks because we're 2-5 right now. If we continue to lose, we're going to have a top 5 pick. So what I would do is I'd continue to keep these draft picks. I would try to get rid of and shed as much players as I could to save money. And I would draft a star defensive player and put him in the middle of that defense. That's what I would do. I would use all my first, second picks to go get a top-tier defensive player. I would also probably want to trade that top 5 pick to somebody that wants a quarterback, and I would move back for more picks to try to get more picks within the first or the second so we can get more players. Because I would want not only a defensive tackle, but also would want to bring in a linebacker or a safety. And then with that second round pick, I'd want to go ahead and pick up a sleeper quarterback. Now, I'm not big on taking quarterbacks in the top 10 picks. I don't think you need to do that. Look at the 49ers. The 49ers don't even have a quarterback, and they traded up to get their quarterback. You talk about the Jags when you got Trevor Lawrence with that number 1 pick. They could have traded out of that, but they did it. Now, you have people like Jalen Hurts that are successful that weren't picked within the top 5. You have a bunch of quarterbacks like there's a Dak Prescott. I mean, I'm not a fan of him, but that is able to find some type of success with a later round quarterback. So I don't think you necessarily need to go out there and use a top 5, top 10 pick to pick up a quarterback. I honestly don't. Plus, I feel like you think about it, Patrick Mahomes, he wasn't even considered one of the better quarterbacks in the draft. Usually the better quarterbacks aren't even the best quarterbacks coming out. So it's just something I wouldn't want to do, is just automatically assume you take a quarterback just because you have a high draft pick. But I feel like that's what dumbass GMs would do because that's what everybody else's do. So it just be suck, man. It would just suck. I would hate to go into this draft with a high draft pick and draft a quarterback. I just wouldn't want to do that. Carr will be money next year. Draft quarterback, indeed, it's time. I agree. Carr will cost too much, and we have to get a quarterback. But I wouldn't want to do that top 5. And this is another thing. If you take a quarterback in those higher picks, you pay them more. If you take a quarterback later, you also save money, and it'll be a lot more. It'll be a lot better because you guys got to think we still have to build this defense up around that young quarterback. You just want to get a high draft quarterback, and then all of a sudden you're not going to do anything for your defense. That's going to be kind of difficult. I'd rather build this defense by making the right decisions in the draft and build it up. Meanings, which is super appreciated, dog. He says, I never thought Josh McDaniels was a leader from when I saw his first presser. Why can't they understand you need a manager first and tactics second? I 100% agree, bro. He just doesn't look like a head coach. I even said that, and I didn't want to seem like I was just being banter, like it was just banter, but he definitely doesn't look like a leader of men, especially the way he speaks. When you have to sit there and you speak in the term of that means you're not very well spoken when it comes to getting in front of whether an audience or in front of a group full of men, because he does that. He's the guy. So I definitely don't like the fact that he doesn't seem like he could be a leader of men. And that's something that he struggled with the Broncos. And, so we'll see what happens. They need to restructure his contract ASAP. Who exactly? Who they need to restructure? Renfro went from being good to average. I don't know, man. I think Renfro's still a solid piece to this offense. I think it's just the fact that we're just having some weird stuff going on right now. I don't know what it is, honestly. Trade Waller, Carr, and Jacobs for draft picks and a quarterback. I don't know if I'd really want to trade Waller, Carr, and Jacobs because, one, Waller would cost money. Now, if they were able to pick up that contract, then I would definitely do it. Carr has a no-trade clause. So if you were to trade Carr, it'd have to be somewhere he'd want to go, like the Texans. Something I would do, and I wouldn't really mind doing, is trading Carr to the Texans, taking Davis Mills, using Davis Mills in this system. And then because I've seen Davis Mills come out of the draft, I like him. And I like my Stanford quarterback. And I feel like he's more of that Tom Brady-esque than Derek Carr is. So I wouldn't mind bringing in Davis Mills. He's taller, he's bigger, he's stronger. He's not really that mobile, but he can move a little bit. So I wouldn't mind doing that if we'd be able to pick up some draft capital, use Davis Mills, and then continue to build in the defense. But that's very hypothetical because, again, Carr has no trade cost. And Jacobs, I don't know if I trade. I would probably, if we're tanking, you trade Jacobs right now. You trade Jacobs right now if you're tanking and get what you can. That's just the fact. This is the only way you'll get value for him. This is the only way you would get value for him. We should have traded Waller this offseason because that was the only way. That was when we had the most value for Waller this offseason. Now it's kind of late. McDaniel's the issue. DC, Renfro struggling. Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. I mean, McDaniel's could be the ultimate issue, but is Derek Carr? This is something I wanted to talk about. Is Derek Carr a coach killer? This was kind of brought up, and this is what I've been contemplating. Is Derek Carr a coach killer? I feel like he may be. I feel like Derek Carr may be a coach killer. because regardless of who the coach comes in, it just seems like it's the same story over and over again. Gio Felio says, can yesterday's result be positive going forward? For me, I don't think this should go forward trying to win games, because what ultimately is going to happen is we're just going to lose position in the draft. And this is what Derek Carr does. I mean, I feel like this is what Derek Carr does. We'll lose. He'll win a few games here and there. And what it does is it ruins our draft pick position. It really does. It ruins our draft pick position because you want to sprinkle in some good games. You think about when we drafted Cleveland Farrell. We're always out of picking one of those game-changing players because we want to win a game at the end of the season. And it's almost like self-inflicting wounds when you go out there and you win a game late. Like, for what? Is it for morale? Is it to be like, oh, we ended the season last year on a decent note with a win, so let's go ahead and go into the next season doing well? Well, why win the game when you're just going to have a worse draft pick and you're not going to make the playoffs? But that's what Derek Carr does. Like, let's be honest, Derek Carr, as long as he's been on this team and we've had shitty results, at the end of the season, they'll go out there and play their ass off and they'll win a couple of games. Even if we win the game, we don't make the playoffs. Now we're going backwards in the draft order. Why would we want to do that? That's how we ended up with Cleveland Farrell when we could have had like a Quinnen Williams or something. Instead of losing the last game, we get bumped back in the draft order. And instead of getting Quinnen Williams or one of those top-tier defensive tackles, we end up getting Cleveland Farrell because we're moving backwards in the draft order because we want to win games when it doesn't matter. And this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to end up being what? Let's say it's week 13, right? I don't want to be in week 13 or week 14 and our record be 4-9. Or our record be 3-10 or something like that. And then the last, let's say week 16 and week 18, we win games. Now all of a sudden we go from picking third or fourth to like 7th or 8th because we want to win those last 2 games. And it literally means nothing to win those games. I would be devastated. So I don't really want to go out there and think we're going to be successful and be wishy-washy just to pick 16th because we want to look like we did decent throughout the season, or because Carr wants to seem like, oh, we did turn the corner a little bit at the end of the season. Let's see if we can carry it over. Hell no. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. 0 points from this Ferrari offense. This is why I've criticized this offense so much. 0 points, guys. This is why when everybody kept saying, look, the Raiders offense is top 5. You have to watch the game, guys. You have to watch the game. They've lost us multiple games, and everybody brings up, oh, the whole team did bad yesterday. The defense still did their thing. This defense still did the same shit they do every game. We gave up 24 to the Chargers. We gave up 23 to the Cardinals. We gave up 24 to the Titans. We gave up 23 to the Broncos. We gave up 24 to today or yesterday. It's the same thing. They showed consistency. They showed that they could stop teams at the end of the game. What we need is our damn offense to go out there and really provide some type of that security blanket that they're supposed to be, because that's what we invested our money in. It's never on the defense for me. It's always on the offense for me at this point. This is why it's the season of no excuses for Derek Carr. Minish Patney says, shout out to you, man. He says, my concern is that quarterback needs a year to sit behind, and if we lose Carr, then what? Well, if we need a quarterback to sit, this is the thing for me. I don't think the quarterback coming into this team would need a year to sit. And the reason I say that is because our offensive line is pretty structured already. Going into the next year, we should know our starting 5 offensive linemen. It'd be Colin Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James, Thayer Munford at the right tackle, and then whoever your right guard would be, which might be Alex Bars. But this offensive line is fine, in my opinion, to be successful moving forward. Now, when you talk about the weapons in the room, if you can't be successful, because Darren Waller is staying here, guys. If you look at Darren Waller's contract, he is not going anywhere, because if we try to let go of him, it's going to be dramatic losses on our end. Because you look at this, it is $8 million dead cap space if you let go of Darren Waller. So Darren Waller is going to be here next year. So whatever quarterback we bring in, they're going to have a plethora of weapons, guys. Whatever quarterback we bring in, they'll have Darren Waller, because he has a guaranteed $8 million, okay? and his dead cap money is $8 million, obviously. And he has a cap hit of 12. So we're not going to let go of Darren Waller. It doesn't make any sense unless you were to trade him, which I don't know if we'd really do. Now you want to go on and you can talk about Hunter Renfrow, which Hunter Renfrow isn't going anywhere, in my opinion. Now you talk about Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow's not going anywhere, guys. So this team is going to have weapons for whoever comes in. $11 million dead cap. And this is what I was talking about earlier. You see how this year's cap is 3.5, next year is 13. So he's getting paid $10 million more next year. And this is what I mean. When you have to look forward at the projected salary cap of this offense, it's lopsided. So whatever quarterback comes in here, they're going to have a plethora of weapons, and they're going to have a very good offense to come in and be implemented in. So I don't think the quarterback coming in will have to take a seat. What I do think is that the quarterback will need a defense to be built. So that's why I feel like we need to make sure to invest in the defense this year, going into this offseason. Make sure this defense is built up so that rookie quarterback does have a decent defense, because he'll already have a crazy, crazy offense to work around. Okay, let me pull up my guy Mike says he does just enough to keep his job, etc. Exactly, bro. He's a coach killer, in my opinion, man. That's what I think. I really think he's a coach killer. Jaguars can possibly put up 30 on us. I don't know if the Jaguars will put 30 on us. Honestly, the defense hasn't allowed anybody besides the Chiefs to put up 30. I think you guys are back, and this is what kills me when people talk about the other team putting up points on us. Why shouldn't they? What have we done on the defensive side of the ball to stop the other team? We've done nothing. We've made nothing but bad decisions. We drafted Jonathan Abram. We got Cleveland Farrell. Nate Hobbs, one of our best defensive players, is hurt. Anthony Averett was not the answer. We already knew that. We signed Chandler Jones to a big deal. Terrible signing. That was bad business. We don't invest in defensive tackles or linebackers. I've been wanting a defensive tackle for the last 3 years. We never get a defensive tackle in the first round. We never get a linebacker in the first round. So the fact that people keep bringing up the defense, I understand that they're not great, but at the same time, they're really not as bad as everybody says. They're clutch. They've given us opportunities to win every single game, but the offense hasn't. The offense never has put us in position to win a game and go out there and close it. The Arizona Cardinals, we stopped the Arizona Cardinals in the second half in order for us to be able to go out there and win the game. What does the offense do in overtime? They fumble the football, and the Arizona defense returns it. That's the offense's fault, guys. That is not on the defense. The defense got you the ball in overtime, and all you needed was to kick a field goal. That is not on the defense. So that's one game that's on the offense already. Then you want to talk about the Chiefs game. You have players running into each other. You send a first and a second and pay Devontae Adams to run the wrong route and run into run throw while we're almost in field goal position, and the defense just stopped the Chiefs and gave the ball back to your offense to kick a field goal and for a go-ahead win. That's 2 games on the offense, guys. 0 points is unacceptable against the Saints. That is unacceptable. They have the 31st ranked defense, and everybody wants to talk about ranks. So if we have the top 5 offense and the Saints defense is 31st, the second worst, worse than our defense, but we put up 0 points, what the hell does that tell you? It's the offense. So that's 3 damn games so far this year that's been on the offense alone. And everybody wants to blame the defense. Now, if the defense were to somehow magically hold the Saints to 0 points, we still could have potentially lost the damn game because the offense, turned the ball over twice in our own territory. So even if the defense makes a stop, the Saints are already in field goal territory and could have won with those 2 easily field goals. So I'm just confused on how people continuously look at the defense and act confused like the offense doesn't put them in terrible situations. I mean, even against the Cardinals, you think about the offense had a 30-second drive. We had a drive by the offense that was less than 1 minute. That is embarrassing. How do you have a drive less than 1 minute and then blame the defense for giving up points on the next drive? Well, yeah, because the defense has been out there for 30 minutes straight because the offense can't hold the damn ball. It's tough, man. It's tough out here. Yo, shout out to everybody that's in the chat, man. We're over 500 people deep, yo. Can we get 500 likes? Can we get 500 likes on this damn thing, yo? That's crazy. If we can get 500 likes on this before the live ends, I will be doing a giveaway. I have to, bro. If we can get 500 likes, I'm for surely doing a giveaway. Shout out to everybody that's pulling up, man. If y'all don't know, this is Good Morning Nation, and we do this morning show every Monday morning at 8:45 Pacific Standard Time, as well as do the pre and post game show every single game. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to Star for the super. He says, what do you think about keeping Ziegler and getting Brian Flores as head coach? He can get our defense right and is a leader. I don't know if I even like Ziegler that much. And I know I might throw a curveball to some people, but the simple fact that he is willing to throw the damn, it's like he'll throw money at the wall and see what sticks. And that's what I feel like he's done so far. But it'd also be difficult to let go of Josh McDaniels and keep Ziegler. Because if Josh McDaniels goes, wouldn't you guys feel like Ziegler goes? Because I feel like they came as a pair. You guys let me know down in the chat. But I feel like because Ziegler and Josh McDaniels came together, they know each other, they're from the same place, all that good stuff. I feel as if they would probably leave together, man. Prayer says, it's like The Exorcist. You can't get the demon out of a bee because Carr is the priest. I don't even. I'm trying to figure out that algorithm or that analogy, bro. That's a different one right there. Janet Kelsey says digital prayers, bro. What does that mean? Yo, I feel you, bro. I'm not even 100% sure. Pick someone. Carr, McDaniels. Who you keeping? If I have to choose, I'm keeping McDaniels. But I think they both go. I say they both have to go. Mike Morris says 0 points from this Ferrari and the offensive mastermind. Exactly, man. This offense is supposed to be Ferrari, bro, and it's broken down. We paid Ferrari premium. We paid Ferrari money, and it's broken down. It is definitely broken down, man. Scroll down, catch up to the chat. He said Prez on that good stuff. Oh man, Geno Smith is way better than Carr Ray. Yeah, right now he's playing way better than that man. So it's hard to really defend Carr right now. Honestly, Carr is done, fired. Build the future, draft a quarterback. Yep, that's what I'm saying. We have to build up this team to get a young quarterback to come in here because we cannot afford to pay a premium for quarterback right now the way it's set up. We cannot, man. We just can't. Born Free Scooter says if McDaniels goes, so does Ziegler. They are a package deal, but remember we have Champ Kelly. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we would probably just promote Champ Kelly to GM and then bring in Brian Flores. I could see something maybe like that, but at the same time, I don't know if Brian Flores would be the answer. Honestly, I don't know what the answer would be, but I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in a defensive-minded coach and then bringing in a good OC that would be able to help coach up that young quarterback, to be honest. Raiders Rap says, my biggest thing is no matter who is the head coach or whatever roster we have, we look like we're struggling, and the only thing that hasn't changed in the last 10 or 20-year rebuild is Carr. Yeah, that's 100% true, man, and that's why I think it's definitely time to move on. Michael Rocha says, haven't had a defensive tackle since Darrell Russell, long time. Exactly. And the last time we really picked up a good defensive tackle was Richard Seymour. That was the last time is when we picked up Richard Seymour. So we really need to go out there and invest in defensive interior. We really need to. We should have done it instead of Chandler Jones. We really should have. Christopher says, this is crazy. You can't outscore a bad defense. You don't need a new quarterback who will suck for a few years. You need a defense can limit the other team's point first. Christopher, this is a terrible idea to even have. This is a terrible ideology to even have. You're saying you can't outscore a bad defense. You can. You definitely can. This is a terrible statement to make. This is a terrible narrative to have. You're talking about a defense that probably has the least amount of money invested in it. Are you kidding me right now? You're talking about an offense that has the most money invested in it, has over double the amount of money invested in it than the defense does. This is a damn joke. Not even one person in the right mind would even want to go out there and make an excuse for this offense that put up 0 freaking points. Are you kidding me right now? You're talking about an offense that put up 0 fucking points, dog. I don't block people, but if you come up here talking stupid, I might just block you. This is the dumbest statement you could have ever made. What's the Raiders' record if we started Mariota? If the Raiders started Mariota, I feel like our record would probably be around 4-3 or something like that, to be honest, man. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not even going to lie. Because I feel like the lack of improvisation from Derek Carr is what keeps us losing, is what makes it looks like the offensive line is bad, is because he'll just drop back. And if it's not perfect, he'll just take a sack or throw it away. That's all Derek Carr does. He'll either take a sack or throw it away if it's not a perfect setup for him. And I feel like that's what's holding this team back, honestly. I feel like that's really what's holding this team back. Carr isn't the problem. It's the coaching, bro. Carr is part of the problem, bro. He is. No, without a doubt, he is part of the problem. He is part of the problem, no doubt. Carr is not the problem. Did you see him dance his way into sacks? Yeah, it's tough, man, because at the end of the day, regardless of how you want to chop it up, when you watch the film, Derek Carr just stood there. He did not do anything. He did not improvise. He did not try to check out of anything. He did not get the ball out quick. And this is another thing. You cannot sabotage the damn team. You're a 9-year veteran. You realize you're getting hit and sacked every time you drop back. Go out there and have a decision to get the ball out fast. This is where you cannot have excuses for Derek Carr. He's a 9-year veteran, guys. He is not a rookie. He knows he needs to get the ball out fast. If they're teeing off on him, why the hell would you continue to stand back there and continue to hold the ball forever? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It makes no sense. It's like in Lion King. Think about this. In Lion King, when Rafiki smacks Simba in the head with his staff, he smacks Simba in the head with his staff, and he says, "Did that hurt?" Simba says, "Yeah, why did you do that?" And then he goes to smack him again, and then he ducks. And then he says, "You learned." Well, no shit. Derek Carr, you got sacked. Go out there and freaking learn that you need to get the ball out faster or else you're going to get sacked. This is what doesn't make sense to me. You're a 9-year veteran. You need to make the adjustments. Quit going out there and saying, "I'm doing exactly what the coach wants me to do." You cannot be a grown man putting your blame on another grown man. That's what Derek Carr does. That's what Derek Carr does. He's sitting there, literally did it with John Gruden too, guys. He did it with Gruden. He said, "I'm doing it exactly the way the coach wants me to do it. I'm trying to put it exactly where the coach wants me to put it." I've never heard a quarterback go out there and say that in a press conference. I've never heard a quarterback say that before. Now he's at the point to where he doesn't even take accountability. We scored 0 points, and he did not take any accountability. He did not say it's my fault. He did not say anything like that. He said, he just says the same shit. So it's crazy. It is absurd. This is absurd, man. 0 points is the offense. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Carr has to pull his head out of his ass. Exactly, man. He needs to. Ray got that Jason Machete swinging this morning. I'm done with Carr, bro. I'm done with Carr, bro. He said, not the Lion King reference. Bro, I'm telling you, his dude, bro, is a damn fool. This dude is a damn fool. I mean, like, you just can't. He is a people pleaser. Exactly. He's a people pleaser, man. But look, shout out to everybody that was in the chat, though. Looking at those comments now, Carr does low-key throw his coaches under the bus. Yeah, man, like, this is that's lacking accountability, bro. That is can you imagine being the head coach and Derek Carr and going out there scoring 0 points or just losing, whatever the case may be, and just being like, "I do exactly what the person tells me to do." And it's almost like, dog, like, are you like, do you have your own set of nuts to wear when you walk out of the house, or does your wife have your balls in a glass case and she only breaks them in case of emergency? I was young when I've learned this. I was like 13, 14 when I learned, bro, there's a certain time that you have to stop listening to everybody else when things aren't successful and go take things into your own hands. And at some point, that's what he needs to do. And he's never done that. He has never done it. And as a Raiders fan, I'm upset and I'm fed up. I'm fed up with it when I can't do it anymore, guys. I really can't. Exactly. Rookie veteran. That's how he acts. This motherfucker act like he's a rookie veteran, bro. Thank you, all starters. That's how he acts. Like, bruh, Mariota doing more with less. That's what it seems like. Like, Mariota isn't losing 24-0 to the Saints, and they're in the same division. Like, it's just weird. It's just weird. Like, he's got to make something happen. You have to take it into your own hands. You never heard a quarterback 9-year vet ever say, I did what the coaches wanted. Exactly, bro. There's a certain time you have to take it into your own hands. And he doesn't. He just doesn't. He just doesn't, bro. He just doesn't. He needs to throw his bull BS coach under the bus, bro. He just trash. But this is the thing, though, Riddle Sprigger. He did it with Gruden. Like, he did it with Gruden. And it's crazy because it's just crazy because the dude just will not take accountability. You know what I mean? But, yo, Brian Chavez, man, appreciate you. He says, Carr Flintstone running in place under pressure. He does. I mean, you really can't make any excuse for him anymore. He said Rafiki in the chat. Oh, no, bro. Y'all wilding. Y'all wilding. No, I didn't even see Rafiki in the chat. Where the hell is Rafiki in the chat? He said, yes, I have been summoned. Yes, bro. We need Rafiki in the locker room to smack that boy Carr upside the head and give him some wisdom. Because this dude right here, he's just not making it happen. He's not making it shake. He's just not making it shake, y'all. But look, man, we got over 500 people in the chat. I appreciate everybody that did pull up. Again, we do this every single Monday morning, okay? This is Good Morning Nation, your favorite Raiders morning show. 8:45 every single morning. We get this thing done. Man, we got to hit them likes if y'all can. Let's see if we can get up to 400 likes before we get out of here. There's over 500 people. Go hit that like button, y'all. We was trying to get to 500 likes, but it's all good. I was hoping we would be able to hopefully get to 400 because we got over 500 in here, man. Mischief Reaper says we should get on the Bryce Young sweepstakes. Really? Do you guys really think we should go after Bryce Young? I don't know if I want Bryce Young, and this is why. Because Bryce Young is too small for me, man. I'll be honest. I don't like small quarterbacks. 6 foot, 194 pounds. 6 foot, 194 pounds. I don't know if I'd want to bring that in as our quarterback, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want a small quarterback like that. That is not something I'd want to do. Make sure y'all go and make sure y'all go check out Digital Press. My guy is 8 subscribers away from 1K. 8 subscribers, y'all. 8 subscribers. Make sure y'all go make that shit happen, man. I'm telling you right now. Raiders support Raiders. So I appreciate everybody in here. Richard Snyder, shout out to you, man. Appreciate you always pulling up and helping me out, man. Hit that like button. Tubby Chile says, Gorge says, move on from Carr, absolutely. Although we have a bag of nails in this coaching staff to deal with for a while. We do, man. We do. I feel you. Lyneth just out here laughing. Man. Monday Fry Card Day. Nutty Raider says, CJ Stroud. Let's see what's CJ Stroud. Where's he standing at? I think he's 6'1", like 220. I think he's 6'1", 220, if I'm not mistaken. CJ Stroud is 6'3", 218 pounds. I would definitely have to watch this guy's film. But, 6'3", 218 pounds, I wouldn't be mad at that. Definitely wouldn't be mad at that at all, man. Definitely wouldn't be mad at that. But, shout out to everybody that pulled up in the chat. Appreciate everybody that pulled up. We've been up here for over an hour. Yes, we do usually do an hour show, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to everybody that pulled up. Todd Davis, we will leave it with this one. He says, my team gets whooped yesterday, and I got COVID. Oh, damn, you got COVID, man. Well, I hope you get better ASAP. I hope you get better fast, man. Make sure you, just stay healthy, y'all. Health is wealth, guys. Health is wealth. Hooker, Tennessee, what's his name? Hendon Hooker. This guy, Hendon Hooker. Where is he at? 6'4", 218 pounds. Dang, this is not bad. Not bad size. I'm not mad at that at all. Not bad size for Hendon Hooker. Would definitely have to keep an eye out on him. I know he's just up and coming, but I don't know if I'd really want to go all in on a guy like that yet. I don't know what just happened, but I think that's a good sign. We're going to go ahead and let it go, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up. If you guys can, make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And also check out Redemption Brand if you guys want to check out any hats. I do got this one in stock. We got the white and black Pillage series in stock as well. Make sure to go tap in, man. Appreciate everybody pulling up. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Raid the Tape, y'all. Shout out to everybody, yo. Shout out to everybody, man. It's going to be a hell of a season. It's going to be a hell of a season. And good morning to everybody. Have a blessed day. Have a blessed week. And hopefully we don't win any more games. Hopefully we don't, because I don't want to end up getting picked 13, 14 through 18 anymore. I'm tired of that shit. If we're not going to make the playoffs like we did last year and stack chips, then quit winning the damn games. And this is where I got to leave it. Quit winning those games, because we're just going to only screw ourselves out of better draft positions and draft capital. So shout out to everybody that pulled up, man. Until next time, y'all, raid the tape.